If you constantly are feeling like you need other people's approval, it may be that your self-worth is being controlled by the outside world. I want to talk about a few simple practices that really help me build my self-worth. Um, and of course, it's over time. But it helped me build my self-worth and finally stop needing validation. I think to start, it would be important to just pause and really process that as long as other people decide how you feel about yourself, you're never going to really feel fully confident, fully sure of yourself. And this is because these external people's opinions is entirely out of your control. So it could be that one day they like you, the next day they don't. At the drop of a hat, any small thing that they do not agree with could be enough to just completely invalidate you. So if your self-worth is tied to this external source, that means you're just constantly going to be unstable. So I want to talk about fixing it at the root. So most people don't even realize that they're stuck in this cycle where you're kind of waiting to see what other people might think before you make a decision. This is because it looks normal. This is all that you're used to. So as an example, like if you post something on social media, you're constantly checking to see how it performed. If you say something in a meeting or you say something in a new group of friends, you might replay it in your head over and over. And a lot of this you can't control, right? But it's good to at least be aware of it. So a big one, this one is for me, like making decisions. You make a certain critical decision and then you wonder like, oh, did people agree with it? What are people gonna think? So that is not really confidence. That's not true inner stability. That's more like dependency. So the more you do it, the worse it gets, right? Because you're essentially training your brain to believe my value comes from other people. This means that you're going to start performing instead of living, instead of genuinely doing what you think would be the best thing, right? So this could look like filtering what you say, holding back who you really are, your opinions, and overall just shaping your personality in a way that fits in certain environments just to fit expectations. So before you realize it, slowly you're essentially losing yourself. These 4 habits will help with that. This whole channel, right, is about building your authentic self, being true to yourself, and just having your self-worth be the highest it can be, because it should be. So habit 1, whenever you make a promise to yourself, it is critically important that you actually keep it. Your brain is observing everything that you do, right? So if every time that you say, I'll start tomorrow, I'll do it later, I'll be consistent this time, you say it, but then you don't do it, your brain's observing like, oh, I can't trust her. Make sure that you're not damaging your self-trust anymore. If you don't have that self-trust, there's nothing to build your confidence on. There's nothing to build your self-worth on. This is not going to be with some big, sweeping, dramatic changes. It's going to be more boring, small, consistent wins that day in, day out might not look that critical, but over time you're going to see it makes a huge difference. So at the beginning of each day, this kind of ties in a little bit with the other video that I made, but you pick 2 to 3 things, right, that you're gonna do, and you're gonna complete it at a certain time. So complete an important task. You can move your body, you can arrive at a certain time to a place, right? As long as you're following through on the things you promise to yourself, this is more or less like collecting data to prove to yourself, I can rely on me. Over time, you collect enough of that data, like you have a fact, I can rely on me. And that's extremely powerful for helping build your self-worth. Okay, so habit 2. You might notice that you have what I want to call like external validation checks, you kind of have to just consider or approach it in a way like you're attacking the addiction, because that's what it is. You're in the habit of checking for approval. It's going to show up in weird, subtle ways, and you might be thinking now, like, I don't do that, but kind of just reflect, right? Are you checking notifications repeatedly? Checking the numbers, the stats on your latest posts, right? Are you rereading messages that you sent even like months ago, or reading through emails that you sent? Are you looking for any sort of reaction when you're trying to give an opinion on something? Is your response varying depending on their reaction, right? So it's a little subtle, but if you are doing that, there is a way to kind of stop it. You would just create some distance between the action and whatever the response you are looking for, that validation, right? So in the example of posting something on social media, you could start trying to post it, but don't check it the rest of the day. If you're sending a message that you're feeling kind of anxious about, send it. Don't reread it. Don't overanalyze it. Don't rewrite it 3 different ways. When you're making a critical decision, when you know it is the correct decision, stand by it. Don't look around to your colleagues or your friends for reassurance. Just stand in that assurance that it was the correct decision, because you trust yourself. You're going to see it in the very beginning. You might feel a little bit, not a little bit, very uncomfortable. I might even start to feel like a withdrawal in a way, because you're not being fed this validation that you're used to. So it's very normal to feel crazy amount of discomfort in the start, but over time you're going to see you don't actually need all this external validation. Like, you trust yourself. All right, habit 3. So this is where things kind of get a little bit deeper, potentially a little bit harder too. Try and work on being able to be alone. Most people, they're afraid to be alone, not necessarily physically per se, but mentally. So if you're by yourself physically, you might have something playing in the background all the time, something to fill the silence, right? And we I feel like we all do this unconsciously. The reason why it might be good to not have something stimulating your brain all the time is that silence can reveal truth. And once you sit in it, you do it a couple times, you'll see what I mean. But I guess a challenge that you could try is spending some time alone, but without stimulation, like I mentioned. So no phone, no music, no TV playing in the background, essentially no distractions. Sit by yourself with yourself. And at first you might feel like your mind is racing, but with time, you're gonna notice something starts to shift. You almost feel obviously still, but what's the word? Like zen. I get a lot of clarity. I hear my own unfiltered thoughts. You might feel like you're reconnecting with yourself. Your true thoughts, not thoughts that are heavily influenced by the outside world. This is where I would say the real confidence starts. Habit 4. Your definition of success might look something like, did people like it? Did I get approval? Did my work impress others? Did my words and my knowledge impress others? So yes, that could be a metric or one way to check, but that's not going to, again, build that strong, unmoving internal self-worth, right? It's a scoreboard, but it's the wrong scoreboard for building your self-worth. So this is because it puts your worth in someone else's hands, and you can't control other people's opinions. So we're going to change the scoreboard that we're looking at. That means we need new metrics, right? So, and these are just examples. You can come up with metrics or questions that you care about. So for me, did I do what I said I would do? Did I act with integrity? Did I make myself proud, my family proud? Did I move forward? Did I make progress today? So if yes, that's a win. If you answered yes to your questions, you win. And the hard part here is, even if nobody is noticing these metrics, these successes, even if nobody's giving that external validation, this is where the real self-worth is built, when no one's watching. This is the moment where you're going to start noticing you're asking yourself questions that you care about. Do I respect myself? Do I look up to myself? You decide what that is for you, but that question is going to guide your entire life. Whenever you start to respect yourself, you stop chasing approval. You stop tolerating disrespect, which is going to happen. It's going to keep happening the rest of our lives, but you're going to start being immune to it. You stop chasing that need for approval. You stop shrinking yourself. You essentially become grounded. You have a lot more certainty, not because people validate you, but because you validate yourself. Once you validate yourself, no one can shake that. This takes time. But you can start building this habit. You can start pushing it into your daily life with simple steps. So make the promises and actually follow through with them. Collect that data for yourself to prove that I can trust myself, right? And the evening, just kind of reflect. Did you follow through on what you said you're going to do? Did you act in alignment? So if yes, check. You're well on your way to building your self-worth. And not in one big moment, but in those daily decisions over and over again. I have found in the past, when I try and do very specific exercises like this, it can happen in as little as a week. You start to feel it. The important thing is that even if you miss a day or you miss one afternoon, just always come back to it. If this video gave you clarity, if it made you realize maybe how much of your confidence has been tied to other people, well, I encourage you to subscribe to my channel. This is the space I'm trying to create to try and keep breaking this down in sometimes uncomfortable detail, but it's okay. But helping you build real, unshakable self-worth.